Mctominay going for goal! That's the Scot of last season! That's the MVP!
They said he'd never make it. A Scottish midfielder stuck on Manchester United's bench, watching from the sidelines as his boyhood club crumbled around him. 7 years of promise unfulfilled, flashes of brilliance buried beneath tactical chaos and managerial churn. Then came August 2024, a £25.7 million move to Naples. Most saw it as a downgrade, an escape route for a player accepting his limitations. Antonio Conte saw something else entirely. And if you haven't subscribed yet, you're about to discover why this story becomes one of the most remarkable redemption arcs in modern football. Hit that button now, because what Mctominay did next will leave you speechless. Scott McTominay joined Napoli in August 2024, and by May 2025, he'd won Serie A MVP, scored the goal that secured the club's 4th Scudetto, and earned a Ballon d'Or nomination in his debut season. Let that sink in. A player written off by his boyhood club transformed himself into the most valuable player in Italian football within 9 months. This isn't just a transfer success story, it's a complete metamorphosis. A tactical rebirth, a midfielder discovering he was a goal-scoring destroyer all along. Standing at 6 feet 4 inches and built like someone who could play in defense or attack with equal menace. McTominay arrived in Italy as a defensive-minded central midfielder who occasionally scored at Manchester United. He'd been utilized primarily as a holding midfielder alongside Fred by Jose Mourinho and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, deployed in a defensive role despite possessing obvious goal-scoring ability. United saw him as cover, a workhorse who could press and tackle. Conte saw him as liberation. The Italian coach wasn't interested in McTominay the destroyer, he wanted McTominay the invader, the midfielder who could carry Napoli's attacking burden on those impossibly broad shoulders. His strengths, according to detailed statistical analysis, include aerial duels, long shots, dribbling, and finishing, while his weaknesses center on passing and tackling. That profile tells you everything. This isn't a traditional midfielder who orchestrates from deep. This is a hybrid attacker disguised in a number 8 shirt, a player who thrives on chaos, late runs, and violent strikes from distance. Since transferring to Napoli, he's been deployed in an attacking role, becoming their dominant attacking force in the process. Conte freed him from defensive shackles and unleashed something spectacular. Let's talk about his role because it's unlike anything you've seen from a traditional midfielder. In Napoli's 3-4-2-1 system, McTominay operates as one of the 2 advanced midfielders, but his positioning is beautifully flexible. He's constantly scanning for gaps between the lines, drifting into the half spaces, arriving late into the box when defenders are already committed. His movement patterns mirror a second striker more than a midfielder. He's not dropping deep to collect the ball, he's positioning himself to finish attacks. He likes to dribble, execute layoffs, and cut inside, but crucially, he doesn't dive into tackles. That last detail matters because it shows tactical intelligence. He conserves energy for offensive moments rather than committing to defensive duels that take him out of position. When Napoli build from the back, McTominay holds his position higher than you'd expect, creating a constant threat in behind. When they transition, he's the first runner, using his ridiculous physical profile to crash through midfield lines. His defensive contributions averaged 1.3 tackles and 0.7 interceptions per 90 minutes in the 2024-25 Serie A campaign, and he ranked 13th for possession, one in the midfield third with 81. Those numbers reveal someone who does enough defensively without being consumed by it. He's selective, intelligent, conserving his pressing energy for key moments. The result? Napoli faced just 9.6 shots per game. The second lowest return in Serie A when your attacking midfielder is this disciplined off the ball. Your entire defensive structure elevates. If you're enjoying this deep dive into one of Serie A's most surprising success stories, make sure you're subscribed. We're breaking down why McTominay's transformation represents the future of the box-to-box midfielder role in modern football. Now, let's talk output, because this is where McTominay's season becomes genuinely historic. He scored 12 goals in Serie A 2024-25, finishing as the best-scoring midfielder in the championship, and added 4 assists for 16 total goal involvements. Those 12 goals came from an expected goals total of just 7.4, meaning he overperformed his XG by more than 60%. Elite finishers don't just get into dangerous positions, they convert at rates that defy mathematical probability. McTominay is that finisher. He scored the most goals in 0-0 situations with 8, meaning his strikes were genuine differentiators, not cosmetic stat patters in comfortable victories. He took 55 shots excluding blocks, with 33 on target, created 35 chances, and hit the woodwork 3 times. That shot volume from midfield is absurd. For context, his 16 goal involvements set a new league record for a midfielder in a debut season. Kaká, one of the greatest attacking midfielders ever, managed 15 in his first Italian campaign. Mctominay obliterated that standard. He opened the scoring in 8 matches more than any other player in Serie A Premier League. That's leadership, that's pressure performance. That's a midfielder who understands the psychological weight of scoring first. Mctominay completed 39 take-ons, won 141 ground duels and 67 aerial duels, made 43 tackles, and executed 51 layoffs with an 85.12% passing accuracy. Those ground and aerial duel numbers reveal a player using every physical advantage. His dribbling isn't silky, it's powerful, direct, built on strength and acceleration rather than trickery. His passing accuracy is functional rather than spectacular, but it doesn't need to be. He's not Pirlo threading needles from deep, he's the player Pirlo would have found in the box. Even Antonio Conte couldn't believe what he was witnessing. Conte admitted after the season, "I knew Scott well from his time at Manchester United, where he often made an impact but rarely started. When Giovanni Manna mentioned him, I didn't believe he'd join us, especially without European competitions to offer. Honestly, I thought it was a long shot. The coach who transformed him into an MVP candidate didn't even think he'd sign." That's how unlikely this entire narrative was. Following his first season, BBC Sport described Mctominay as a fan favorite and Napoli icon, with images of him becoming some of the most popular displayed around Naples. Earning the nickname McFratton from the fan base, this is what modern football mythology looks like: a player discarded by one of the world's biggest clubs, reborn in a city that embraced him completely, lifting a trophy while destroying every preconception about his ceiling. Mctominay didn't just succeed at Napoli, he became the living, breathing proof that context matters more than reputation, that tactical freedom can unlock dormant brilliance, and that sometimes the best version of yourself emerges only when you escape the shadow of what you were supposed to be. Subscribe now, because if McTominay's story teaches us anything, it's that the greatest transformations happen when everyone's stopped watching. And you don't want to miss what happens next.